Did Jagdeep Dhankhar resign voluntarily or was he forced out by the Narendra Modi government? I am told that the Prime Minister and even senior ministers stopped interacting with the Vice President's office. There was also an angry exchange in private, we are told, between the Vice President and a senior government minister.
The views expressed in this blog are hosted on my own website, are strictly personal and do not reflect the views of any organization.
Namaskar, hello and welcome friends once again to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. Did Jagdeep Dhankhar resign voluntarily as the Vice President of the country on health grounds, or was he forced out by the Narendra Modi government? The answer, my friends, to that question, which is blowing in the monsoon wind, lies in understanding the Modi-Shah political power playbook. There are many rules in this playbook, one of which is very clear-cut as far as Modi-Shah are concerned. No one will speak out of turn, and that includes ministers, MPs, or even constitutional figures without the approval and permission of Gujarat's, and dare I now say, the nation's Jodi number one. Let me repeat the rule. No one will speak out of turn. Call this a rule of the autocrat based on fear, or the rule of a strict disciplinarian regime. In the Modi-Shah universe, there must be no deviation from a certain set of basic rules. This is where Jagdeep Dhankhar, a veteran politician, ran foul of the ruling government. Much like another Jat leader before him, Satyapal Malik, Dhankhar is someone who doesn't like to hold back his punches, who doesn't like to be reined in beyond a point. He has an opinion on most issues and will not hesitate to share it with one and all. He is in that sense, my friends, an old-style pugilist politician who, remember, was mentored by the likes of former Prime Minister Chandrasekhar in the early Janata Dal years. Yes, he is part, many believe now, of the RSS BJP ecosystem, but remember, he only joined the BJP formally in 2003, having spent considerable time in the Janata Dal and the Congress party. When he was West Bengal governor between 2019 and 2022, Dhankhar was very happy to come on TV shows and give interviews lambasting the Mamata Banerjee government. It wasn't quite what one would expect of a Raj Bhavan occupant in a constitutional post, but it suited the centre at the time. The BJP was engaged in a no-holds-barred battle with Mamata Banerjee, and it helped the party to have someone like Dhankhar speaking out repeatedly against an elected chief minister. In fact, on one occasion I recall Mr. Dhankhar actually calling me, asking me whether he could come on the channel because he wished to speak out against the Mamata government. I don't know how many governors have done that. Dhankhar's willingness, therefore, to go the extra mile in taking on an opposition chief minister is one of the qualities that endeared him to the BJP leadership or the BJP high command. It was one reason why, when they had a choice, the Modi government decided to elevate Dhankhar to the vice president's post. Remember also, Dhankhar was a Jat, and in the aftermath of the farmers' agitation, the BJP was looking for an attractive Jat face. Moreover, Dhankhar had given every indication by then that he would happily do whatever the Modi-Shah RSS troika asked him to. The arrangement worked out rather well initially. Dhankhar as Rajya Sabha chairman kept the opposition in constant check, gave them very little time or space to speak inside parliament. He was effectively seen as a government mouthpiece in and outside parliament. And yet, about 7 months ago, Mr. Dhankhar, who loves the sound of his own voice and relishes being in the spotlight, appeared to stray from that cardinal principle of the Modi Shah establishment. Thou shalt not speak out of turn. Until then, he had been a loyal soldier in the establishment, so much so that on the 10th of December 2024, the opposition India bloc submitted a notice to move a motion of no confidence against Dhankhar. The first time this was happening against a vice president. The opposition accused Dhankhar of indulging in partisanship, alleging that he prevented opposition members from raising issues while allowing BJP members to table issues of their choice. This no confidence motion was a turning point. It hurt Dhankhar's ego, but also at one level made him even more determined now to express himself strongly at every available fora. With Rajya Sabha TV following him dutifully, Dhankhar began travelling the country, giving speeches and holding forth on a variety of subjects, especially his pet subject, the judiciary. As a former Supreme Court lawyer, Dhankhar was a member of the bar who never had any love lost for the bench. Who are judges to dictate terms? They need to know their boundaries, Dhankhar told a friend once. Initially, Dhankhar's tough anti-judges stand suited the Modi government, since as vice president, Dhankhar had perhaps greater room to speak out than the executive, which was a little bit more constrained. And yet, while Dhankhar began routinely attacking judges and speaking out on the limits of their power, the Modi government feared that slowly but surely Dhankhar's utterances were now alienating the entire judiciary. He keeps talking about us in a derogatory manner, a senior judge reportedly told a minister at a private function. This message was conveyed to the top two in government. Dhankhar was counselled to be careful, but he was now on a roll. For much of his political career, Dhankhar had been on the margins, losing the 1991 and 1998 Lok Sabha elections. But now he was the centre of attraction in the vice president's chair, commandeering the Rajya Sabha, enjoying the arc lights. In fact, I am told that Rajya Sabha TV was told to only focus on Dhankhar whenever he spoke in or outside parliament. Which brings me to another rule of the Modi Shah power playbook. Thou shalt not seek attention. The Modi Shah duo do not like attention seekers. The sun must always shine on the political supremo. Others must stay in the shadows. As Dhankhar sought the limelight with his headline grabbing remarks, the government decided to draw a red line. It was one thing to praise the Prime Minister, as Dhankhar often did. It was another to stir controversies by sounding off on his own, as Dhankhar was prone to do. By April this year, the government was running out of patience. I am told that the Prime Minister and even senior ministers stopped interacting with the Vice President's office. A miffed Dhankhar began to convey his displeasure. He began to make public utterances, particularly on the farmers' issue, because he saw himself as a farmer leader, questioning the government's policies on farmer. In private, he spoke to opposition leaders whenever they dropped in on him. Suddenly he was interacting with opposition leaders at home. A democracy cannot be run like a dictatorship, Dhankhar reportedly told at least one opposition leader who called on him recently. In the Delhi Darbar, news travels fast. Even what is supposed to be behind closed doors can reach the Prime Minister's office. Dhankhar was now seen as someone who could not be fully trusted. When large stacks of cash were found at the Delhi High Court Judge Yashwant Verma's residence in March, Dhankhar sensed this was his moment to strike, to push forward with his demand for greater judicial accountability. Dhankhar wanted an FIR to be filed against Verma. He actively began pushing for the impeachment of the judge. When on Monday the monsoon session of Parliament began and the opposition moved a motion for his impeachment of the judge, getting the requisite signatures, Dhankhar decided to accept it almost instantly. He even appeared ready, and this is also crucial, to consider a notice to impeach Justice Shekhar Yadav, an Allahabad High Court judge accused of hate speech and someone who was seen close to the ruling establishment. Dhankhar had sat on the opposition demand for months on the Justice Yadav case, claiming that some MPs' signatures were forged, but now he was ready to reconsider his stand even on Justice Yadav. The Modi government, by all accounts, wanted Justice Verma impeached, but they did not want Justice Yadav to be touched. So when a little after 4 p.m. on Monday, the first day of this monsoon session of Parliament, Dhankhar indicated that he was ready to accept the opposition notice to impeach Justice Verma and possibly Justice Yadav, the government was incensed. You see, the government was already planning on a similar motion in the Lok Sabha against Justice Verma. But Dhankhar, in his own way, was almost upstaging them by acceding first to an opposition motion in the Rajya Sabha. What followed is unclear. BJP MPs were being made to sign on blank papers inside Rajnath Singh's office. There was also an angry exchange in private, we are told, between the Vice President and a senior government minister. BJP President JP Nadda, who is also the leader of the party in the Rajya Sabha, refused to attend or chose not to attend a business advisory committee meeting along with the parliamentary minister Kiran Rijiju, citing prior engagements. This meeting was scheduled for 4:30 p.m. Dhankhar was incensed, felt that his position was being undermined by the leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party. The government, on the other hand, felt that Dhankhar was not acting as per the rules of Parliament and had begun building his own image as an anti-judicial corruption crusader and wanting to take all the credit. As I said earlier, Dhankhar had violated two cardinal rules of the Modi-Shah power playbook. Thou shalt not speak out of turn and thou shalt not seek the limelight. It is unclear, my friends, whether between 4:30 in the evening and 9 p.m. Mr. Dhankhar was asked to quit or he took a quick decision to preempt a government strike on him. Yes, the Vice President of the country has had his health issues in recent months. But be clear, someone who was ambitious enough to hope to become the next president of the country one day, health for him was never a good enough reason to resign. Dhankhar resigned in the end because he or his supporters or his friends felt he was left with no choice. In the Modi-Shah world, you either follow their rules or opt out. Dhankhar, it seems, was pushed into a situation where he had to opt out despite having been such a loyalist. His critics would say a sycophant of the Modi government for the last few years. What is the true story? Maybe one day we will hear that from Dhankhar himself, much like we heard it from the former governor Satyapal Malik. Till then, what is clear that this story highlights how Delhi's power play moves. You can be a courtier one day, you will be dubbed a conspirator the next, and soon you will be turfed out. Use and throw politics is what they call it. Till then, my friends, till Mr. Dhankhar breaks his silence, there will be probably more questions than answers swirling in this Delhi monsoon wind. That was the Straight Bat. Do of course subscribe to my YouTube channel for many more such videos. For now, stay well, stay safe. Jai Hind. Namaskar.